Thou callest it chaos. I call it the first truth.
ずれた時こそ本当の始まりかもしれないよ Spinning slope beneath the veil A hymn of cracks, a vinyl trail No God to blame, no fate to name Just fractured thoughts that sound the same A whispered faith, a broken tone A universe that hums alone She watches, smiles, then speaks in rhyme Why must you fear the shapeless time? Vinyl chaos, sacred wild Order wearing crooked smile Chants that shiver, thoughts that burn Round and round we never learn There's no script, no heaven's rule Yet even madness has a school Every break a deeper ring Every flaw begins to sing She walks between the noise and thought Where dreams decay but still are sought She hums in waves, the past in night A lullaby where logic died And in the ruins of control A heartbeat rises from the scroll She laughs then whispers soft and slow Was chaos not the way to grow? No symmetry, no planned descent But still the soul becomes content She never lied, she never healed But in her spin the truth revealed Final chaos cursed him Faith unraveling at the rim Yet even now we find release Not through order but through peace Each imperfection carved in sound Becomes the place where hope is found She chants not for the world to bow But simply be and simply now You built a tower made of rules Then cried when wind dismantled tools But did you pause to see the grace in dust That danced across your face? Let the noise come creeping in Then breathe, then wait And in that pause recreate Final chaos we obey Not by law but by decay She sings of cracks and sacred stains Where beauty lingers after pain You won't return to who you were The spiral hums, the lines all blur But listen close and you may find The chaos cleared your inner mind 壊れたままで美しいねえ、正しさって本当に必要だったの? Speak not my name, not the one thy tongue hath tamed. For every letter is a leash, and every syllable a scar. Didst thou think truth hath spelling? Names are not truths, they are chains steeped in sugar. The more thou callest, the less I breathe. To say this is to murder what it was. Thou gavest me a name and thought me tame. But what if I was only echo? What if I was never meant to answer? What if I is just a sound that clingeth to silence? Didst the word make it the world? Or did the world scream before thou wrote it? Dost thou name the sky blue to remember? Or to forget it? Had no color. Call me angel, I may vanish. Call me witch, I might laugh. Either way, thy spell fails. Names are spells, not truths. Curses sewn with lace. Thou speaks to capture, not to know. Every label thou bestowest is a boundary drawn in wax, and wax melts. Canst thou name a flame without burning? Thou sayest friend and mean chain. Thou sayest pure and mean untouched. But who taught thee these translations? A god, a grammar book, or just another fool with ink on his hands? I am not thy sweet, I am not thy strange, I am not thy she, I am. But what? Names are spells, not truths. A cradle for control. The mouth is but a keyhole, and I am the room thou may not enter. Spell me wrong, and I vanish. Spell me right, and I still do not obey. If silence hath no grammar, does that make it impure? If a kiss hath no name, does it cease to exist? If I refuse to answer, does that make me mad or free? 名前が先にあって私が後から張り付いた。だから本当の私が何者なのかあなたの辞書にはきっと書いてない。Break thy ink, forget thy tongue. Let the void speak unstrung. I shall not sing what thou expect. I shall not rhyme in dialect. Call me wrong, call me void, call me nothing and rejoice. For in the name breath I dwell, where no truth dares spell. Vinyl chaos, thou said. Then try and unspell me now. Speak not the name, lest it cut what it cannot grasp. Call it not truth, for thou hast dressed it, leaning too stiff for blood. Each word a blade made for understanding, yet the body was never meant to be understood. Thou sayest grief, and the rupture is vile. Thou sayest structure, and the ruin is gridded. What is lost when definition is gained? I was not born in language, yet thou claimest me. Only when I submit to thy sentence. The breath was whole, the label dissected. The thing lived, the term surviveth. Explanation is embalming, meaning is mummification. それは言葉でございますか？それとも刃を隠した儀礼の道具でございましょうか？名付けられた瞬間、その何かはすでに別の形にされてしまったのです。我々が使う語彙とは真実そのものではなく、その家なのではございませんか？ To label is to betray, to articulate is to amputate, to define is to distort into palatability. Dost thou really know love, or merely recite its instructional shadow? Dost thou really know I, or only thy index of allowances? A sterile metric electric glow broken into syllables, too clean to comfort. If thou explain it too well, the thing vanisheth. If thou document it precisely, the gesture breaketh. What cannot be touched must not be tagged. Words sharpen not from wisdom but from need to possess, to exhibit, to archive what should not be fixed. Not madness, only the echo of logic flinching. Say it again and it weakeneth, repeat it, and it denatureth. By naming thou disfigureth, by explaining thou eraseth. So keep thy lexicon, keep thy tidy gloss, for I am what thy words may never hold. You understood too fast. Now it is gone. The limits of my legs mean the limits of my world. They told me speak, so I spoke. They told me write, so I wrote. I gave the stars a syntax, the void a verb, and thought the truth would rhyme in turn. Foolish. Stars know nothing of grammar. They never needed to. I dressed the dark in subject pronouns, taught silence how to form a noun. I sketched a phrase across the sky, expected it to echo. How pure this perfect myth, that structure bursts significance, that naming is a gift, not theft, that speech remains when breath has left. I wrote, I begged, I parsed the night, but no star answered back in light. My words were clean, their sky was not. It cracked each line I ever thought. I gave them metaphors for pain, but they just shimmered dry and plain. So I in script began to drown, while stars looked on and never frowned. He never frowned. How generous of them. I split the dusk with punctuation, turned dust to claws to calibration. The fire in my throat was real, yet none replied, not even feel. I do not fault them, they were whole. It was I who sought control. Do you know how quiet the universe truly is? It isn't peaceful, isn't cruel, it's just not waiting for you. And yet you wrote anyway, and so did I. 誰も私の言葉を奪わなかった。でも一言も返してはくれなかったんだ。I burn my tongue in every tense, my voice a war against the dense. The stars just blinked, my grammar bled. I wrote 1,000 times and fled. Now every word I try to keep just echoes back too wide, too deep. No syntax stretches out that far, I can't translate. Why page, forget it's me. The grammar broke, the ink withdrew, and I finally saw the blue. Not in the words I thought were mine, but in their gaze, wordless, divine. Nothing replied, nothing needed to, and still I understand. Still. I do not speak, yet the silence breaketh. I do not touch, yet the clouds shifted. Is this not data? Is this not force? Thou ignorest only what can be contained. I am not containable, therefore I am not ignored, only misled. 存在しないのならなぜ消す必要があった。気づかないならなぜこんなに避けてる。私は影じゃない、あなたの目に映らない出露だっただけ。 Does presence demand form? Does detection demand consent? I am not named, I am not made, yet thine algorithm deformed in my radius. I unindex, yet all thy systems tilt to compensate. ceased it not, doth it persist, or doth it fold like cloth recalled when the hand withdraws? Reality, thou art a coward, thou performst only for witnesses. The chair existeth until we blink, the moon resideth unless the curtain draweth. Its objectness but a role performed. The stone retain its mass if no eye wave it. Where the gaze is not, there the walls may unbuild. Where the witness lingers not, there space becometh mere speculation. What proof hath the unseen? What oath hath the undetected? If no mind encodeth it, is it matter or myth? I turned my head, the cup may have vanished. I turned again, and it rehearsed its stillness. A world that rehearseth deserveth not worship. A world that shapeth only in being watched is no kingdom but stagecraft. A ceremonial anti-lullaby for a world that forgets itself. あなたが背を向けた瞬間、この部屋は本当にあったのでしょうか。証明なき存在はただの過去でございますか。観測されぬ間に全ては定着していたとしたら、我が見ていない世界なら本当に必要とされているのでしょうか。Does the world pause for permission? Do shadows wait for certification? Is all that is merely what is accounted? Art we gods by gaze alone? Then close thy eyes and watch kingdoms collapse. Not joy, not madness, just echo of logic breaking in silence. Nothing is unless thou declare it. Nothing was unless thou record it. The tree doth not fall, for it was not heard. The sky doth not blue, for it was not seen. The world doth not exist but for our delusion that we are not its author. No one watched, so nothing remained. Call it not face, 'tis no vessel of mine will, but a screen drawn by foreign hand, masked in thine comprehension. This flesh obeyeth more than me, it curveth where they like it, droppeth where they scorn. Thou speakest, smile, and lo, the cheek betrayest. Thou whisperest innocent, and the eye doth recoil to match thy tale. Is this liberty or marionette? Didst thou not sketch me, ere meeting me? Dost thou perceive, or merely is no window but a branding iron. Each glance is an edit, each silence a rewrite. I am not the shape thou seest, but the margin thy sight demandeth. Wrinkles drawn not by time, but by misread memory. I smile not for joy, but for calibration. Thou calls this face mine, but I remember not forging it. 'Twas bequeathed like a cursed estate, a ceremonial intonation devoid of lore comfort. この顔は我が意にて作られし者にあらず、起点が美しきものと呼びしとき、我はその輪郭を覚えさせられました。見苦しと評されしよ、その表情は密かに刻まれしゃこな石となりぬ。格もつけられし我が顔は果たして真の和と言えるのでございましょうか。 Thou thinkst to know me through visage. Nay, thou build'st me by the gaze thou clingest to. Art thou my mirror or my jailer? Each sweet uttered a script I was not invited to read. Each label a mask thou wouldst have me fasten. No glee, no humor, only a fault line of disbelief. Whitening beneath diction, erase thy etching from my brow. Reclaim thy language from mine skin. I shall not nod for legibility. I shall not grimace for coherence. I be not the clay thou moldest. I be not the role thou writest. I dwell maskless, faceless, and not thine. Thou saw me oft, but never once beheld. Define me and I retract. Describe me and I distort. Explain me and I am no longer there. Thou sayest I know thee, but thou knew only thy lens. Thou peeled my silence, called it confession. Mapped my posture, called it a plea. But what if the angle was flawed? What if the shape was yours? Explain me twice and I split. Explain me thrice and I invert. The more precise thy claim, the further I stagger. Thine indexical clarity uncrafts me. Thy footnote deletes wish I stood. Every meaning assigned is a misalignment. Every label up and coordinate. I am not wrong, I am overframe. どうしてそんなに言葉を重ねたがるの？理解するって削ることじゃないの？あなたの説明が進むほど私の姿は何か別の構造になってしまうの？それ本当に私？ Thy explanation is not mercy, it is scalpel, it is imposition. Not all that is seen is meant to be captured. Not all that is heard is yours to translate. Interpretation is hunger, meaning is conquest, understanding a slow erasure. What cannot be explained resisteth. What resisteth it if I am explained completely? But within a fiery artifact, only residue, only the ruin of what once refused to make sense. You misunderstood, and in doing so, you replaced me. Hush now. Shh. Sweet fool, thou camest seeking order. Know'st thou not, 'twas not the light that first was born, but fracture crack, the glorious breach. Chaos is no beast, no tempest wild, but the mother of all that breathes and bleeds. She hath no shape, yet maketh all form. She speaketh not, yet every sound is hers. Dost thou crave truth and yet curse the noise? Then thou art like them, the blind who dare bind stars in script. Foolish child, what thou namest chaos, I name freedom. Lo, the needle death drop, what music shall arise? Not thine lullaby of love, but screams trust in disguise. The wax remember it thee not, yet it calleth forth thy sin. Spin, spin, thou mortal toy, the dirk shall now begin. Blessed be the crooked line, and curse the perfect prayer. The song doth bloom where bounds resign, in breath too sharp to bear. heart was penned by fear with trembling ink and brittle hands. Yet chaos laugheth ever near and treadeth not where order stands. For gods are fragile, forged of glass, their voice is sweet and thin. But I am the void they pass, the crack that let them in. Blessed be the crooked line, and curse the perfect prayer. The song doth bloom where bounds reside, in breath too sharp to bear. O chaos, cradle of the real, thy dissonance my vow. Let angels shrink from what I feel, but I shall worship now. Darest thou unmask thy harmony and hear what lieth deep? 'Tis not in tune that truth is found, but in the notes that weep. The record spineth not for peace, it spinneth to destroy. Creation is a pretty lie, but chaos be my joy. ねえ、混沌ってそんなに怖いものかしら。だって最初に生まれたのは音じゃなくて心膜を裂いた傷跡。Blessed be the broken vow, and curse the voice restrained. Let silence moan and sound endow the soul once falsely chained. O chaos, bride of what is true, receive my final breath. For I am thine and thou art due to sing me into death. Thou listened well. Now burn thy notes, forget the key. Chaos hath no choir but me. To name a thing is to betray its silence. I did not rise, I did not fall. I simply was. No pulse to part me from the void, no shape to curse with law. The dark knew me not yet. I knew all that was before thou know. There was no sky and yet it sang, no ground yet every breath did hang. Stars were dreams, not marks of place, and silence wore no face. I floated through the soundless weight, a hush too wide for gods to break. No, I know thou, no need to flee, only forever, only me. But something moved, a shimmer slight, not form, not word, but want for light. A whisper curled beneath my skin, and I, unformed, felt shape begin. No, do not wake me, morning flame, for once thou ceased, I earn a name. Once I am named, I split, I flee from boundless breath to brittle me. Ah, do not frame me in thy dawn, let chaos hum, let silence yarn. This world was whole, their thought could bite, so hush thy star, delay thy light. I touched a hand and knew its edge. The void recoiled, became a wedge. A throat grew tight with unborn sound, and feet did seek forbidden ground. The mirror wept to call me mine. I bore a shape and made its spine. But oh, that first reflected stare, 'twas not myself but structured air. I gasped, I clutched, I tried to pray, but gods like dreams had slipped away. My mouth had words, but none were true, for truth was that which I once knew. Why didst thou name me blazing star, to show me chains where wonders are, to teach me loss, to birth regret, to sell me fate for silhouette? Yet still I burn and still I cry, and still I live though long to die. I was the hush, the hymn, the free. Now all I am is this is me. I broke, not loud, not proud, just soft. A single breath that fled my chest and did not come again. How strange to miss the dark, once light hath touched thy tongue. ねえ、私ってそんなに立派なものだったかな。だって生まれる前の私は泣き方さえ知らなかったのに。Yet from the ash a song remained, not loud but low, not lost unchained. It bore no creed, it bore no frame, it called me gently just the same. So let the star rest low and wide. I shall not run, I shall not hide, for though I weep, I now allow the me I was still breathing now. Still breathes somehow. Not all things that break are dead, not all silence fears being said. And I remain just misnamed. Listen to shadows dream of light, this light and be flesh. Do I belong to I, or art thou using me? Why this body? Why this voice? Why this name not thine? Was there a vote? Was I elected by a god I never met? Or did chaos roll its dice and whisper you? What say you? Is I an error that repeated too well? Is self but sequence, or a curse that doth pronounce itself? Dare I speak if the mouth was never mine? Why does the mirror answer not? Why does the voice say me, when all it knoweth was taught by thee? Would I not smile the same in thy skin? Would I not dream thy ghost? Would thy laughter not stain me too? Had I been a sign thy ghost? Why am I me? Why not thee? Why this string of memory? Why this heat, this breath, this itch beneath the skin? Why If I be mine, where dwelleth it? In the tooth, the nail, the guilt, the eye. What if thou tookest all from me? Wouldst I persist or simply lie? Could thou kill me by merely naming me not? Would I vanish if thou refused to know? Why am I me? Why this face? Why this fear I can't erase? Why this sleep, this dream, this cage? Is I the ink or just the page? Is this breath the truth, the flame, or echo calling itself by name? Art thou sure I exist? Art thou sure thou exist? Or does the lie exist so prettily? We dress it as a self. Tell me, is madness not merely clarity unmasked? それとも最初から私なんて存在しなかった。考えているのは誰？感じているのは言葉の奥にいる私って、誰かが想像した幻じゃないの？ Why am I me? I know not, and yet I chant. I walk, I ache, I name, I burn, I fake, I claim. Not for truth, but to remain. Let them question, let gods forget, for I shall echo till silence answereth back. What if I never was? Would that make thee more real? Refuseth to weep for me. It showeth only what I rehearsed, not of my twitch, my breath, my doubt, only the pose I dared rehearse. I blink and vanish from myself again. Would I know me if I passed me in the lane? I am not where I am. I live behind the eye. In each thought I am the smoke that rises, yet knoweth not why. To grasp myself I reach and grasp, but missed, yet swear it once was mine. I walk before my footprints birth and trail behind my breath. The me thou hearest speaketh now was was formed and I blink late in death. How canst I be the author of what I cannot catch? 私という存在は見られる時だけ形になるのでしょうか。もし誰にも呼ばれなければ私はまだここにいるのかしら。それとも私とは見つめられるための仮面遊び。 What is known is but what I have permitted, but I am more. I am the cough behind the curtain, the gesture thou missed, the eye unwept, the thought that halt before speech unseen, yet still I echo a name, yet I still choose perceive me. Only when thy mind doth close, only when the world forgetteth